What's up, gamers? YouTube here, and Ju Fufu is right around the corner, and you might not want to pull her for your account, or maybe you do. So in today's video, that's what we're going to be covering: all of her pros, cons, and what teams she works well with, teams she kind of works with, and teams she does not work with at all, to really show you whether she's going to be good or bad for your account. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and hop into it here. And how this is going to be working, guys, we're going to be having a topic, pro, and a con. So let's just go ahead and hop into the first one here, guys. The topic here being overall gameplay complexity, meaning how does she work overall. The part of this, guys, is she has off-field presence and she does off-field damage, meaning she's able to be off the field when she's doing most of her attacks, meaning whenever she's putting stun on the enemy, she will be off the field doing this. Whenever she's doing damage to the enemy, most of it's going to be when she is off the field, meaning she doesn't take away time from your main DPS doing your main sources of damage. She is there adding supplementary damage and also stunning the enemy as well. But on the con for this end, guys, you're going to have to keep track of two different resources, that being both her might and her momentum, guys. I'm not spelling the whole word out there, but you need to keep track of both of these different resources to make sure she's able to hit the most damage off possible. The main one of these stacks is going to be might, guys, which allows you to do most of your off-field attacks. You want to make sure this meter is charged up at all time, and then you have your momentum stacks, which actually turn in to might meter when using momentum. This is what you use whenever she's on the field. This allows her to do her little spin to win move. She attacks the enemy, and then whenever she attacks the enemy there, obviously she's going to be converting that into might, which then you can swap her back off the field. She's going to be able to do off-field attacks. She'll be doing chain attacks as well with this, and this is how you keep her going at all times. But you want to make sure you're mastering this, so that's why I say it's a con, because you do need to keep track of both these stacks here and time both of these stacks, because if you're not using her properly, you can have her on the field for much more time when you're trying to get more momentum stacks up, or really just trying to keep your might in check. So it is definitely something you need to keep track and be diligent with keeping both of these meters in check here. Now, secondly, she feels clunky on the field when there's a faster enemy. What I mean by this, guys, is she has her little spin to win mechanic, right? She has her little guy right here. She sits on top of the guy right here, and he goes wee 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 and spins, right? But she moves really slow in this process, so you do need to make sure you're hitting the enemy with this. That's how she's able to get the main majority of her might back up. So if the enemies are far away or the enemies are moving really fast, it's going to be a lot harder to get that up, and she just feels a lot clunkier when she's on the field, because she doesn't really move that fast when she's directly on the field. So that's why I have that as a con. But that's the basic premise of how this video is going to work, guys. Let's hop into point number 2 now, which is the build itself. And for the pro, guys, here is you have rewarding stat scalings for her. And what I mean by that is her core skill, guys, because upon activation, all squad members gains the Tiger War effect. Crit damage is going to be increased. Now you're going to get an initial 20% crit damage increase, but you can get up to an additional extra 30% of crit damage if you have attack percentage. That's why I do say she has very rewarding stat scalings here, guys, because you're basically converting her attack percentage literally into crit damage for the team. So the more attack you have, the more crit damage you're gonna have. Now, with this being said, she does need a lot of overall stats to do everything that she is kind of meant for, right? If we think about what Ju Fufu is, right? First of all, she is a stun character, right? So she's gonna obviously be doing stun to the enemy, right? So what do you need for stun? You need, realistically, impact here. You're also gonna be needing daze here as well, right? Now, what else is she? A sub DPS. So what do you need her being a sub DPS? Usually crit right here, and you're gonna be needing crit damage here. Crit damage kind of accounted for when you're talking about her attack, right? Now with this, she's also going to be a support, so you're obviously going to be building into attack. Now your attack does feed in to the amount of crit damage you're able to provide, but with that being said, overall you need a lot of attack to actually make this work. Like, you need around 2800 attack to actually max this out. Now obviously if you're not able to max this out, then sure, you get a lower crit damage minimum, but to actually make sure you're fully utilizing her kit and utilizing Ju Fufu as a character, you do want to be reaching this 2800 attack value, meaning we're talking about W engine options for her, right? You generally want something with attack percent here versus the impact, and as you can see, most of these things here really just give impact all around the board or energy region. The only ones that give a main stat for attack would be revolver here or her signature W engine. Those are the only two ones that give attack there, right? If we're talking about other ones that are maybe usable, something like maybe this Hellfire Gears, which is Coletas, which increases energy region, but overall it's going to be increasing her attack and energy region, not her attack, meaning this just makes her a better stunner and not a better buffer for the team. So overall, I think she does need a lot of stats to really make her work, and that's why I think it's a very big con on her end. You do have to put a lot of investment into her. So all in all, guys, with the build, I do think she is fairly rewarding with the stats, but those stats needed to get to this reward, or the biggest part of the reward, a lot of stats are needed for that, and to make her function properly, a lot of stats are needed for that. Now on to number 3, guys, which are the overall teams. Oh, before we hop into that next section, guys, make sure you hit the subscribe button now. You thought I was going to scam you? I always scam you. let's hop into the next section now. But before we hop into the pros and cons here, I want to show you guys what teams she actually can work for, what her best in slot teams are. Now, in the red here, guys, that is going to be teams she does not work for. In the green here, guys, those are teams she works really well with, or teammates she works really well with. The yellow are iffy, like they can work, but there are some like discrepancies in place right now. Obviously, she's not going to be working with any anomaly type character for the most part. I do have Jane Doe in yellow here. I'll explain that in a second, but overall, for the most part, a lot of anomaly characters she's just not going to work for, right? Because she needs an attack character or an interrupter character, and none of these fit that niche there, and usually you're not going to run an attack character or an assault character with them, so LLL there, all of these characters down the fucking drain, down bad horrendous, right? Now, I'm not going to go into leak territory here, guys, but Yuzuha is going to be a character that is actually a buffer, right? But she's not going to really be buffing other characters as much as anomaly characters. That's why I have her in red. So that's why they're all red here, guys. Now let's move on to some of these other characters I have in red, like Anton, right? Anton plays off of an anomaly character, so he's there. Ben Bickerton, he's a defense character. Really don't see much of usability with him. Like, you really want to play with Ben Bickerton with Coleta. Overall, the buffs he provides aren't really that good, so I put him in red here as well. And the reason why Sambi's here, guys, is because she wants Aftershock. She doesn't provide Aftershock. Ju Fufu does have Aftershock in her chain attack, but she doesn't buff it at all, meaning I really just don't see the use case of using her with Sambi here either. As for the other red, Nicole here, like, Nicole can work. Don't really recommend her with Nicole. I think Nicole works better with other teams. Like, yes, Nicole works with quick swaps and stuff like that. Like hopping into some of our yellow categories here now, guys, right? A lot of the yellow categories here, they can work with her in some type of respect or manner, right? Like Corin, for example, right? If we're talking about these like lower tier DPS characters, she can take use for sure of the crit damage, right? And a lot of these characters really can take use of the crit damage. These are all other stun based characters, meaning they can work with her because they're all on-field stun characters. She's an off-field stun character, so obviously they work well with getting extra stun off on the field. Kaleda works because she also helps chain attack damage as well, so this is going to be viable for teams like Evelyn, right? Lighter, for example, can work on Ellen Joe teams, but can also work on Hugo teams as well, with Hugo needing 2 stun characters on the team. Lucy can work with chain attacks. She provides attack bonuses and off-field attacks as well. The reason why I put her over Nicole, for example, though, is because Nicole's, I feel like Nicole can be much more suited for those anomaly-based teams. Well, yes, Lucy can be suited for those anomaly-based teams. I just feel like overall, in the grand scheme of things, Nicole is better for those teams because she is, first of all, Ether, which like are one of the best anomaly characters in the game right now is Ether. And then on top of this as well, she has the ability to group up enemies, so when you're using like Yanagi and you're also using like Vivian as well, they're able to proc their disorders and blooms off pretty well with someone like Nicole. She should probably be yellow now that I'm thinking about it more, but yeah, guys, crit damage is used here. Lycon, extra support here, obviously. Then we have Trigger, another stun character. Basically, all these are partial uses here. Now let's talk about Jane Doe, for example, guys, because you might think, why is Jane Doe on this list, you two? Well, Jane Doe is on this list because, yes, while she is an anomaly character and Ju Fufu does not work with anomaly characters at all, I do think in the future, whenever we get another physical DPS added to the game or a physical assault character added to the game, she could actually become much more viable for this, meaning she's going to be able to proc off what her ability is, which is if you put assault on the enemy with another physical type character, she can proc off with crit damage bonuses and stuff like that. So I do feel like Jane Doe could be used in that sense with this team because Ju Fufu does provide a crit damage bonus, which would overall increase Jane Doe's damage as well. Now on to our green characters. These are going to be the characters that work the best, right? Obviously, Astrial. What does Astrial do? She gives you massive buffs, but she also gives you chain attacks. And what is Ju Fufu buff? Chain attacks, right? And you're also getting a lot of other damage buffs around the board, which she just overall helps with. She's also off-field too, so then you can really focus on your main DPS doing big amounts of damage, right? Caesar King provides you shield. Is also going to be providing you with attack bonuses and some res pin as well. Then we talk about characters like Hugo, right? Hugo likes using his ultimate move, which she's going to be increasing ultimate move damage. He's also going to be helping his crit damage as well, so he can take full use of her. Evelyn, obviously, crit damage, chain attack damage, ultimate damage, like everything like that she can take use of. And then Pan Yoon here, he pairs really well with Rupture characters, which means he'll work well with her as well because her additional ability plays off of Rupture characters. Secondly, on that as well, he is also probably the best in slot for Yixuan right now, so I do have to put him in the green because, like I said, best in slot for Yixuan right now. And Yixuan, guys, obviously, some of her attacks are considered chain attacks, and that's like the main thing that she does, right? So all in all, guys, these are the teammates that can work pretty well with her. Now let's go and hop into the pros and cons for it, right? Obviously, the pro here, right? She can function as an an off-field buffer and sub DPS at all times, meaning she can always buff your crit damage, right? She'll always be able to buff chain damage, right? She's always going to be able to buff your ult damage, right? And then she's also able to do her own damage on her own and stun the enemy, right? She's always going to be able to do this, right? So that leads us into our con now, guys. She loses a lot of why she is good when she's on the wrong teams, meaning if you're not running on a team that is utilizing either crit damage, chain attack, or ultimate attack damage, like either 2 or even all 3 of these at the same time, you lose a lot of her value. And what's really the point of putting her on a team when you can probably just put someone better on that team that better suits the anomaly team anyways? That's really just towards people that mainly have anomaly characters built up on their account, right? I guess the main point I'm trying to make here, guys, if you have anomaly characters on your account and the majority of your account is anomaly characters, really don't think Ju Fufu is going to be great for your account. Now hopping into number 4 here, guys, the buffs overall, right? She offers a team-wide crit damage buff, chain attack damage buff, and ult damage buff as well. That's the obvious pro here. She offers a lot of different buffs for you, so she can hit a lot of parts of those damage formulas and hit a lot of different niches that we don't currently have buffs for right now, namely chain attack damage and ult damage increase. Now the cons here, she loses a lot of potential value with non-chain attack damage DPS, meaning you really do want characters that really have a lot of like damage potential from their chain attack damage or can frequently launch those off. So either you're always going to be running on a team with someone like Astra Yao, right, which gives you 2 free chain attacks, or you're running on a team with Evelyn or Yi Xuan, and that's where you're going to get the majority of her buffs from, right? So I feel like if you don't have her on those teams, she does lose a lot of value. Like I said, all in all, guys, I still think she can function as an off-field buffer and some DPS at all times, but you want to make sure you're putting her in a situation where she works the best with the rest of the team too. So guys, that leads us into the final part of our video. Should you or should you not be pulling on Miss Ju Fufu here? Now, I think my thought process on this is if you have, you know, a lot of anomaly characters on your account, then she's probably not the best pull for your account because she doesn't really benefit you in a lot of ways, right? I think like even running someone like a Trigger would probably be better for your account than what Ju Fufu is able to provide. Now, with that being said, if you do have some crit-based damage DPS on your account and you have like Evelyn on your account or something like that, a Hugo on your account, even the new Yi Xuan, she's gonna be amazing for your account. And honestly, overall, guys, I would say she is probably the best breaker in the game, best stun character in the game in my opinion. While yes, guys, I really don't think she falls under the same niche as someone like Lighter does, because Lighter's gonna be buffing obviously your fire damage and your ice damage. I do think she does fall up here in tier 0 with everything that she's able to provide. Honestly, I feel like she's even a bit better than Lighter in the sense that she provides more damage than Lighter can. I honestly think she'll provide more stun capabilities than Lighter can, and then on top of this all, like the buffs are definitely more universal than just ice and fire, right? So overall, guys, I don't think she's a must pull for your account. I do think she'll be really good for your account. I think she's pretty universal across every single team you'd want to run her in, but at the end of the day, you want to make sure you're getting full utilization out of this character to make sure she feels the best for your account. And if you don't have that in your account right now, then I wouldn't pull for her. If you guys have anomaly characters in your account or the main majority of your account is anomaly, then I think Yuzaha is probably going to be the better option for your account anyways, or Alice if you want another like anomaly DPS for your account. I think you should save it for those characters. Overall though, Ju Fufu's fine. I think she works great. She's good, but I don't think you should pull her. Anyways, guys, but I don't think she's a must pull by any means. So anyways, guys, that's the end of it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Leave your comments in the comment section down below. Are you pulling for Ju Fufu or are you skipping for the, let's not say cute here because we know how that went, the Tigress girl? Yeah, bye guys, see you later.